to Shrink Wrap Hawaii. I am Steven Katz. I'm a marriage and family therapist here in Honolulu. And I'm really excited because I have a really great friend of mine with me today. This show is just going to be totally fun and beautiful because Patrice Federspiel,
hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
She is an artist, a writer, a teacher, and an overall brilliant, fabulous, talented person. So let's find out. Let me share Patrice with you a little bit. Patrice, how did you find yourself here in Hawaii? Where do you hail from?
I'm originally from Wisconsin, and about 16 years ago this year, I visited Hawaii for the very first time in January. And while I was here, I only had a week, and I did a lot. I mean, I went all around the island. I was with one friend. We went to the Big Island, spent 2 nights there. The last night we were here was the first day I got into the water because we were so busy. We'd spent a week a day out on the North Shore. The waves were huge. But I got to go snorkeling at Hanauma Bay and then walked up Waimanalo Beach and came upon a tourist group that had been boogie boarding. And I really wanted to boogie board. So the board washed up on shore and I said, oh, I really want to do this. And the woman in the tour group said, well, I don't know, and the tour guide said, well, come on, I'll take you out. So he took me out and I didn't know what I was doing. So he got me a wave and I got on my knees and I rode in on my knees, my first time. And I was thrilled. I went back out. He got me a bigger wave, which washed the board right out from under me, and I was fine with that. But we had to leave. We were going to the airport. So I had to leave. I turned around. I'm walking back toward the car, and I turned around a couple of times to wave my thanks and goodbye. And the second time I caught his eye, and I just started to cry. I had had the best week. It was amazing. And the friend I was visiting was in grad school. She was busy the whole week. I hardly saw her. She had just moved into a tiny garage apartment. She didn't pay rent. It was a UH professor, so she did yard work. She was a TA. She was writing a grant proposal to work at the Smithsonian. And all of a sudden I thought, what if Sarah gets her grant? She's not going to want to lose her apartment. I could quit my job. I could sell my house, I could move here, and I could paint. And I felt so much energy coming through me that I said it out loud to my friend. I repeated the whole thing, just verbatim to my friend. And she said, well, yeah, I guess, but she wasn't thrilled with being here. So, got back to Wisconsin. I had to wait, and this was in January, one of the first weeks in January. I had to wait until about this time in April to find out if Sarah got her grant. And then I had 6 weeks to decide, was I going to do it or not? I hadn't told but maybe 2 people because I didn't want the energy to dissipate. I just wanted to kind of hold it in. So I took a week and thought about it, and then 5 weeks in, I went to my boss, and I was a creative services manager for a library supply company.
What does that really mean?
It means that I managed a department of about 12 artists, and we did catalogs on the computer. We did
like graphic design.
Graphic design for catalogs. We did a 900-page catalog, several 32-pagers, some tabloids all year long, and we were just getting ready to start our big 900-page catalog, which takes 6 months to produce. And I went in and I said, I'm going to quit. I'm going to move to Hawaii and be an artist. And he said, are you sure you really want to do that? Why don't you take a 1-year leave of absence? And I was floored. I had not expected him to offer me that. I loved my job. It was a great job. I loved the people I work with. But here we are going into our busiest season, and I just did not expect that. So, but I said, oh, I'll think about it overnight, but I knew I couldn't do that because I didn't know what I was getting into.
Right.
But I knew that a year might not be enough. So I went back in the next day and I said, no, I'll work for you until May 31st, and then I'm leaving. And so I did. I worked through May. On May 31st, I closed on my house, and on June 2nd, I was on the flight to Hawaii. I had put things in storage, I had sold a bunch of things, and I just moved here. So I was here for a week with Sarah. She's driving me around, and it
That was
wasn't...
your first time to Hawaii?
That was my second time. I had been in here in January.
Yeah, the
for a
January time
week.
was your first time.
Yeah. So I got here June 2nd. About maybe June 9th, I took her to the airport, and that's when I really realized I didn't know anybody here. but
Blissful
really,
ignorance.
Exactly. It was probably the only way this could have worked for me, because what that did was I kind of had forced decompression time and focus time, which I really needed.
What fascinates me, I want to get to talking about your artwork, but as a therapist and just a person that's always been curious about
How things work.
how people's brains work, why people are different, why some people can take such enormous risks while others don't. It's like, how did you have the courage to say, I'm going to move to Hawaii? It's like...
No, it didn't have anything. I shouldn't say it didn't have anything to do with Hawaii, because I'm thrilled to be here.
Yeah.
I would have gone to Alaska. I would have gone to Illinois, probably. Maybe it wouldn't have been as exciting. But the point wasn't where I was going. It was what I was doing. I had wanted to be an artist all my life. I was working in the field of art, but I wasn't feeling like I was being an artist. And that's it also didn't...
So maybe the question is, what gave you the courage to say, I'm going to be an artist and make my way in the world as an artist?
I think if I hadn't done it, I never would have forgiven myself. You're given this opportunity, how do you not take it? I think that would have been harder for me.
Okay, so let's talk about the art thing. When did you realize that you were in love with art?
Well, I grew up as a normal kid wanting to draw things, maybe that's all I wanted. I mean, I'm drawing horses. Santa never did bring me one, but I kept trying every year,
And you always had some talent?
I think most kids do, yeah. And I took art all through high school. I took an art class. When I got to college, I was certain that I wanted to have a job more than I wanted to be an artist. So I took nursing courses for a year. Until I realized that really wasn't where I belonged. So then I took, my first art class in college was art for non-art majors, and I had so much self-confidence I took it pass-fail.
How did it go?
I got an A.
Well, you switched from the pass-fail to the
A.
A.
No, I would have gotten an A. But so then I went in, I got my degree in art education. Because at least then I thought I would have a job, but this was back when there were far too many teachers than, so there were no jobs.
Were your parents an influence on, like, you should have a backup, be a teacher kind of thing?
Oh, tremendously, yeah. They never told me what to do or what not to do, but it was a really clear, you don't want to be a starving artist.
Right, that's what I think, it's like
nobody
those
wants
words
to
are
be
married
that.
together.
Right.
Right. And so, how did you figure out how to make a living being an artist? And
well,
not a starving artist?
Everything is just one foot in front of the other. I took classes. I was an oil painter when I moved here, living in a teeny tiny little garage apartment, and I thought, well, that's one way to die, from the fumes, So I took a class in watercolor painting with Helen Iaya at Hawaiian Graphics. She's a fabulous teacher, so it was an 8-week class. I took that back-to-back, 2 of them, right away, that summer, because I had never wanted to learn watercolor. I was afraid of it. I heard all kinds of things. You can't make mistakes. You can't erase. It's the reverse, of oils, which it is. But it's a fun medium, and it's very forgiving, which is not what I had heard.
Do you lean more one way than the other now?
I love both, but because of my studio constraints, I'm much more of a watercolorist than an oil painter. I have done a few large oils for Ed Olson on the Big Island, but other than that, it's
you don't
mostly...
want to die of the fumes.
Right. But the beauty of both are that they both blend. Both watercolor and oils blend easily and freely, and they move. So it's easy to keep them alive.
So there is such a thing, of course, you know, as art therapy. I had an art therapist on here, I think it was last time. And, but the way you talk, to me, it's like, it's the same, right? It is your therapy.
It is, it is. It can be. It can be very meditative. Art can be almost anything to anybody. And I love teaching it for that reason. I love teaching, and it's true, there are as many ways to paint or to create as there are people. And it's just more important that we get and find our own way as a means of expression.
As a non-artist, that's
Is
like,
it?
you know, somebody figure it out. It's like,
that's why you have teachers.
you know, it's like, I'm still drawing stick figures, you know, because it's scary. How do you get beyond the scary?
Well, I think the more you do anything, the less scary it becomes. So, for instance, this week I'm taking a workshop through the Watercolor Society, and the instructor, Robert Burridge, says every day he starts his day by doing 6 to 8 2-minute paintings. So he has them all set up, his little pieces of paper all set up, and he just sets the timer and does it. And it's kind of, you do anything like that, you get better at it, and it gets less scary.
So you just have to get rid of the critic in your head that says
Absolutely.
That's no good?
Yeah. We all have voices we shouldn't be listening to.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a favorite kind of subject?
No, I don't. I do work in series, and because of that, I'll follow a string, a thread, a thought. I'll do 2 or 3 of something, and then I'll do 2 or 3 of something else. But and then I might go back to that other series again later.
But you see, I know your work a little bit, having seen it, and when I see a Patrice Federspiel work, I know it's a Patrice. Now, what is it that I'm seeing? No, really, because there's a commonality. What is it?
Well, you're probably seeing color.
Yeah, lots of vivid color.
And movement. I want to keep, whatever it is I'm painting, I want to keep the energy in it. I want to keep it alive.
Yeah, a lot of your stuff looks like, you know, like the trees are literally alive.
Yeah.
And you play with that, right? The trees as
people, figures.
People.
Well, I drive down the street and I just see figures in the trees. We have very animated trees here.